Hey guys, today I have a book haul to share with you. So, as always, when I do these book hauls, I have 20 books here that I'm going to be sharing with you. And as I keep saying in all these book haul videos that I've been doing for the past like a year or so, I am just so freaking behind on book hauls. A lot of these books that I'm about to show you are books that I bought like sometime like way early, like last year. I don't know. I feel like it might be even later than that, like somewhere near the like the end of 2021 possibly. Dear God, I don't know. I am just so super behind on book hauls. I always have a hard time kind of keeping up with them for whatever reason. So yeah, a lot of these books, they are a lot older. They're kind of older books to some extent, I suppose. And yeah, have I read any of these books? I'm trying to look down here. I don't even think I've read any of these books because I've had book hauls in the past where there'll be several books that I've already read before I even hauled them. But yeah, let's get going with this video. Pull up your Goodreads if you want to add any of these books. So yeah, let's get going. First up, Catherine Parr, The Sixth Wife by Alison Weir. And this is the sixth and final book in the Six Tudor Queens series by Alison Weir. I have been kind of slowly, year by year, collecting each of these books in the paperback format. I didn't really want them all in the hardback for whatever reason. So yeah, finally got this last book. I cannot wait to binge my way through all six books. I think that'd be really super fun. And I think I've mentioned this before when I've talked about like the Tudors and the Six Wives of Henry VIII. I've really come to like and appreciate Catherine Parr and her story and her journey. And yeah, she's the one wife who kind of outlives Henry VIII. You know, I think her and Anne of Cleves, if I'm not mistaken, because yeah, everybody else dies quite tragically. But yeah, I love Catherine Parr as a historical figure during this time period and kind of what she brought to the Tudor period. Next up, When Women Ruled the World, Making the Renaissance in Europe by Maureen Quilligan. I love this book, you guys. Seriously, I cannot wait to get to this. I think it's pretty obvious what this book is about. When women ruled the world. I'll kind of read the synopsis here really quickly. This is nonfiction. I don't think I've said that just yet. This is nonfiction. The 16th century in Europe was a time of chronic destabilization. I can read. In which institutions of traditional authority were challenged and religious war seemed unending. Yet it also witnessed the remarkable flowering of a pacifist culture cultivated by a cohort of extraordinary women rulers, most notably Mary Tudor, Elizabeth I, Mary Queen of Scots, and Catherine de' Medici, whose lives were intertwined not only by blood and marriage, but by a shared recognition that their premier places in the world of a few dozen European monarchs required them to bond together as women against the forces seeking to destroy them, if not the foundations of monarchy itself. Yeah, seriously, it is. This was kind of just this rare moment in history where you had all of these incredible monarchs living at the exact same time period, and to this day, we still remember them. Books are still written about them, whether that's nonfiction or historical fiction. There's still TV shows and movies and miniseries made about these women even to this day. So I was super excited to pick up this book. I can't wait to get to it because yeah, the lives and journeys of all of these women during this very specific moment in European history is just such an incredible part of European history. So yeah, cannot wait to get to this. Next up, Electric Idol by Katie Roberts, and this is book 2 in this particular series. What this series is about, I have yet to start it, you guys. What the series is about, this is like retellings of Greek mythology. I'm not sure if they're kind of like in a fantasy setting. I'm assuming they're kind of like in a fantasy setting, not really like a contemporary setting. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, they're retellings of Greek mythology. And yeah, this one, let's see. In the ultra-modern city of Olympus, there's always a price to pay. Psyche knew she'd have to face Aphrodite eventually, but she never expected her literal heart to be at stake, or for Aphrodite's gorgeous son to be the one ordered to strike the killing blow. Eros has no problem shedding blood. Raised to be his mother's knife in the dark, he's been conditioned to accept that he's more monster than man. But when it comes time to take out his latest target, he can't do it. Confused by his reaction to Psyche's unexpected kindness, he does the only thing he can think of to keep her safe. He binds her to him, body and soul. Psyche didn't expect to find herself married to the city's most dangerous killer, but something about Eros awakens a fire she's never felt before. As lines blur and loyalties shift, Psyche realizes Eros might take her heart after all, and she's not sure she can survive the loss. Yeah, these are supposed to be like what they've been described as. They're kind of like erotic fiction, you guys. Rather scandalous. Next up, Three Sisters by Heather Morris. And I think this is supposed to kind of be part of the Tattooist of Auschwitz, because there's like, I think there's like 3 books kind of that you can kind of read all together. I think they're all about different people, but I think there's still like common connection between them, that Heather Morris has kind of made a little trilogy out of them. And yeah, once again, this is like another thing. I've not read all of the books by Heather Morris just yet, but it's like I'm absolutely dying to get to all of them. I have too many books. Oh, this is really pretty inside, you guys. I didn't realize it was this pretty inside. It's like fall and leaves in the forest. It's really beautiful. Okay, what is this book about? When they are little girls, Sibby, Magna, and Livia make a promise to their father that they will stay together no matter what. Years later, at just 15, Livia is ordered to Auschwitz by the Nazis. Sibby, only 19 herself, remembers their promise and follows Livia, determined to protect her sister or die with her. Magda, age 17, escapes capture for a time, but eventually she too is transported to the death camp. Reunited, the 3 sisters make another promise, that they will live. Their fight for survival takes them from the hell of Auschwitz-Birkenau to a death march across war-torn Europe and eventually home to Slovakia, now under iron communist rule. Determined to begin again, they embark on a voyage of renewal to the new Jewish homeland, Israel. Yeah, oh god, this sounds good. I feel like there's going to be some sort of tragedy that happens. Dear God. Next up, Death at Greenway by Lori Ratter Day. And you know what? For the life of me, I can't remember exactly what this book is about. So I'm definitely going to find out along with you guys, because I cannot remember what it is that kind of grabbed me towards this book. Bridie Kelly has come to Greenway House, the beloved holiday home of Agatha Christie, in disgrace. A terrible mistake at St. Prissa's hospital in London has led her to her dismissal as a nurse trainee, and her only chance for redemption is a position in the countryside caring for children evacuated to safety from the Blitz. Greenway is a beautiful home full of riddles, wondrous curios not to be touched, restrictions on rooms not to be entered, and a generous library filled with books about murder. The biggest mystery might be the other nurse, Gigi, who is unlike anyone Bridie has ever met. Chasing 10 young children through the winding paths of the estate grounds might have soothed Bridie's anxieties and grief, if only Greenway were not situated so near the English Channel and the rising aggressions of the war. When a body washes ashore near the estate, dear God, Bridie is horrified to realize this is not a victim of war, but of a brutal murder. As the local villagers look for the killer, Bridie and Gigi discover they each harbor dangerous secrets about what has led them to Greenway. With a mystery writer's home as their unsettling backdrop, the young women must unravel the truth before their safe haven becomes a place of death. Ooh, yes. Looks like I got me another World War II book here, and this is The Last Checkmate by Gabriella Saab. And it says here under the title, Amid the Horrors of Auschwitz, a young woman plays for her life. Oh my god, it sounds really dramatic. I love this cover. This cover is kind of making me think of like the Queen's Gambit TV show, because it had to do with like chess here. Where's the plot summary? Okay, there it is. Usually it's on the back of these books, but yeah, they like when they have these little flaps, it's usually here on this little flap. Okay. Maria is many things: daughter, avid chess player, and as a member of the Polish underground resistance in Nazi-occupied Warsaw, a young woman brave beyond her years. Captured by the Gestapo, she is imprisoned in Auschwitz, but while her family is sent to their deaths, she is spared. Realizing her ability to play chess, the sadistic camp deputy, Karl Fritz, decides to use her as a chess opponent to entertain the camp guards. However, once he tires of exploiting her skills, he has every intention of killing her. Oh no. Befriended by a Catholic priest, Maria attempts to overcome her grief, vows to avenge the murder of her family, and plays for her life. For 4 grueling years, her strategy is simple: live, fight, survive. But cleverly provoking Fritz's volatile nature in front of his superiors, Maria intends to orchestrate his downfall. Only then will she have a chance to evade the fate awaiting her and see him punished for his wickedness. Yes. Oh my god, this sounds so good. Next up, The Stolen Lady by Laura Morelli. And just looking at this cover, it looks like it's another World War II book, you guys. I love World War II, what can I say? It's terrible. It's terrible. It's such a horrible time period of history, but there's such great historical fiction that comes from it. It's terrible. Okay, so let's see. It looks like we have a couple different settings here. Dear God, I don't think I remember this having a couple settings here. Because there's a setting that takes place in France in 1939, and then another setting that takes place in Florence 1479. So yeah, there's like a couple hundred or several hundred-year difference there. So yeah, starting with the France 1939 setting, at the dawn of World War II, Anne, a young archivist employed at the Louvre, arrives home to find her brother missing. While Anne works to discover his whereabouts, refugees begin flooding into Paris, and German artillery fire rattles the city. Once they reach the city, the Nazis will stop at nothing to get their hands on the Louvre's art collection. Anne is quickly sent to the Chateau of Chambord, where the Louvre's most precious artworks, including the Mona Lisa, are being transferred to ensure their safety. With the Germans hard on their heels, the Louvre staff frantically move the Mona Lisa and other treasures again and again in an elaborate game of hide and seek. As the threat to the masterpieces and her life grows closer, Anne also begins to learn the truth about her brother and the role he plays in this dangerous game. So then that kind of takes it to the Florence 1479 section. House servant Bellina Sardi's future seems fixed when she accompanies her newly married mistress, Lisa, to her home across the Arno. Lisa's husband, a prosperous silk merchant, is aligned with the powerful Medici, his home filled with luxuries and treasures. But soon, Bellina finds herself bewitched by a charismatic monk who has urged Florentines to rise up against the Medici and to empty their homes of the riches and jewels Bellina's new employer prizes. When Master Leonardo da Vinci is commissioned to paint a portrait of Lisa, Bellina finds herself tasked with hiding an impossible secret. When art and war collide, Leonardo da Vinci, his beautiful subject Lisa, and the portrait find themselves in the crosshairs of history. So there's like this combination of like the creation of the Mona Lisa and then what's going on in Paris during World War II, and yeah, the Nazis, and they're trying to take all all the art from the Louvre and whatnot, and yeah, it's like the Mona Lisa is like a treasure of Earth, it must be protected at all costs. So I love the drama. Next up, The Collector's Daughter by Gil Paul. And this is another one that sounded really interesting to me that I can't wait to get to. I can't wait to get to all these books. Yeah, guys. Oh my god, I have too many books. Okay. She is the daughter of the Earl of Carnarvon, brought up to make her society debut and follow with a prestigious marriage. But popular and pretty Lady Evelyn Herbert has other ideas. First, she falls for a man her mother doesn't approve of. Then, she accompanies her father to Egypt, leaving behind the world of etiquette and chaperones to work alongside archaeologist Howard Carter in the Valley of the Kings. In November 1922, the extraordinary happens when they discover the burial place of, I'll say King Tut. I can never pronounce all of Tut's name. I'll just say the burial place of King Tut. Eve is the first to crawl inside, the first person to see the treasures in 3,000 years. She calls it the greatest moment of her life, but soon afterward, a string of tragedies leaves her world a darker, sadder place. Newspapers claim it as the curse of Tut. Howard Carter says no rational person would entertain such nonsense. 50 years later, an Egyptian academic comes asking questions about what really happened in the tomb in 1922, and that visit unleashes a new chain of events threatening Eve's contented life, making her wonder if there could be some truth behind the stories of an ancient curse. So yeah, this is definitely going into the whole thing of the discovery of the tomb of King Tut, and yeah, kind of those rumors that started spreading that there was a curse because a lot of people just kind of randomly started up and dying. I think it was just coincidence. I don't think there was really any sort of curse or anything, but yeah, it seems like this novel's kind of getting into that, and that sounds really cool. Next up, The Brides of Americorps, Volume 1 of Another Day by Gregory Maguire. And this is book 1 in this particular new trilogy that's coming out by Gregory Maguire. And I have actually already hauled book 3 in this series. I did a birthday book haul back in March of this year, when I had bought the 3rd book. So yeah, this just shows you how behind on book hauls that I am. That I've never even hauled this 1st book, but I've already hauled the 3rd one. Okay, so yeah, if you kind of can't tell, this is a sequel to Gregory Maguire's Wicked series. And let's see. I like kind of how these covers are done on his books, because there's like, you can take this flap off right here, and then this green lady is on the cover. So yeah, what is this book about? Because I'm not, I don't think I've honestly really read what the story is about, because I just got it because it's by Gregory Maguire and it's a spin-off, from the Wicked books. That was kind of enough for me to pick it up alone. Okay, The Brides of Americorps, Volume 1 of the trilogy, Another Day, finds Rain. Rain, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, she is the granddaughter of the Wicked Witch of the West. Rain is far from Oz. Comatose from crashing into the sea, Rain washes ashore on an island of 7 women, the Brides of Americorps Spot, who spend each morning drawing blood from their feet and twisting seaweed into nets to segment time into daily portions. Days away from their yearly visit by the civil servant overseer who ensures their number remains at 7, the women begin to fight over what to do with the strange girl and her talking goose, who, in disrupting their daily existence, intensifies the ongoing power conflict between the 2 oldest brides. And as the mainland of Americorps sustains an assault by a foreign navy, the overseer struggles to understand how an alien arriving on the shores of Americorps could threaten the stability and well-being of an entire nation. Is it myth or magic at work, for good or for ill? It says this trilogy follows the green-skinned girl as she makes her way from the island outpost into the unmapped badlands of Americorps before she learns how and becomes ready to turn her broom homeward, back to her family and her lover, back to Oz, which, in its beauty, suffering, mystery, injustice, and possibility, reminds us all too clearly of the troubled yet sacred terrain of our own lives. So yeah, this is set in the world of Oz, but yeah, it's Gregory Maguire once again kind of just doing his own unique spin and fleshing out the world of Oz that he created with those Wicked books. And I honestly cannot wait to get to this trilogy. I'm hoping they're good. Next up, The Christie Affair by Nina de Gramont. And for the life of me, I feel like I have already hauled this book, but I looked through like my past several book hauls that I did, and I just did not see this book popping up at all. But seriously, I'm having deja vu with this book, because I feel like I've already hauled it for some reason. This is a book that I have actually read and reviewed. I feel like it's the only one in this pile that I have read and reviewed. And I did really like this book. So yeah, if you want to hear more of my thoughts about this book, definitely check out either my Goodreads review or check out my video that I did. In 1925, Miss Nan O'Day infiltrated the wealthy, rarefied world of author Agatha Christie and her husband Archie. In every way, she became a part of their life. First, both Christies, then just Archie. Soon, Nan became Archie's mistress, luring him away from his devoted wife, desperate to marry him. Nan's plot didn't begin the day she met Archie and Agatha. It began decades before, in Ireland, when Nan was a young girl. She and the man she loved were a star-crossed couple who were destined to be together until the Great War. A pandemic and shameful secrets tore them apart. Then, acts of unspeakable cruelty kept them separated. What drives someone to murder? What will someone do in the name of love? What kind of crime can someone never forgive? Yes, seriously, this was really good. I loved how it tied into Agatha Christie and her husband, and yet Agatha Christie's real life and disappearance. Really good. Next up, I have a middle grade book here, but it was Disney, and it's about Flynn Rider, and I love all things Flynn Rider, so I was like, I'm gonna pick this up. And this is Lost Legends, The Rise of Flynn Rider by Jean Calanita, and yeah, this is like a very young Flynn Rider from Disney's Tangled guys. This book, 12-year-old Eugene Fitzherbert, which is Flynn's real name, 12-year-old Eugene Fitzherbert needs a plan. He loves Miss Clare and the boys at the orphanage, but he's not a little kid anymore. He can't spend his days getting into mischief and acting out his favorite passages from the Flanagan Rider novels. In his imagination, he is that daring rogue Flynn Rider, and his best friend, Arnie, is a famous thief, Lance Strongbow, who steals from the rich and gives to the poor. Even though Eugene knows it's just a fun game, he can't help but wish there was more for him out there. Travel, riches, and maybe, just maybe, his parents. So when a traveling circus comes to the kingdom promising a life of excitement, brotherhood, and unimaginable treasure, Eugene and Arnie see it as the start of their great adventure. But it soon becomes clear that there's more to this ragtag crew than meets the eye, and it'll take new heroes, namely Flynn Rider and Lance Strongbow, to save the day. Yes, this sounds so cute. I love it. And it's just a short little book. You know, I know it's going to be a little kiddie middle grade book. There's not going to be much probably to it, but I'm still excited to get to it because it looks cute. Next up, The Duchess by Wendy Holden. And this book, 1928. A middle-aged foreigner comes to London with average looks, no money, and no connection. Wallace's first months in the city are lonely, dull, and depressing. With no friends of her own, she follows the glamorous set on the pages of magazines and goes to watch society weddings. Her stuffy husband, Ernest's idea of fun, meanwhile, is touring historic monuments. When an unexpected encounter leads to a house party with the Prince of Wales, Wallace's star begins to rise. Her secret weapon is her American pep and honesty. For the prince, she is a breath of fresh air. As her friendship with him grows, the relationship deepens into love. Wallace is plunged into a world of unimaginable luxury and privilege, enjoying weekends together at his private palace on the grounds of Windsor Castle. Wallace knows the fun and excitement can't last. The prince will have to marry, and she will return to Ernest. The sudden death of George V seems to make this inevitable. The Prince of Wales is now King Edward VIII. When, to her shock and amazement, he refuses to give her up or recognize they are facing impossible odds, her fairy tale becomes a nightmare. The royal family closes ranks to shut her out, and Ernest gives an ultimatum. Wallace finds herself trapped when Edward insists on abdicating his throne. She can't escape the overwhelming public outrage, and villainized, she becomes the woman everyone blames, the face of the most dramatic royal scandal of the 20th century. Yes. I really like the story of Wallace Simpson. It's just so fascinating and interesting. It's kind of one of those situations of like, what if? You know? Yeah, I can't wait to get to this. Next up, Horseman. This is A Tale of Sleepy Hollow by Christina Henry. I love the cover on this with the trees forming the shape of the horse. That is so cool. I love me a good Sleepy Hollow retelling, you guys. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for this one. Everyone in Sleepy Hollow knows about the Horseman, but no one really believes in him. Not even Ben Van Brunt's grandfather, Brom Bones, who was there when it was said the Horseman chased the upstart Ichabod Crane out of town. Brom says that's just legend, the village gossips talking. More than 30 years after those storied events, the village is a quiet place. 14-year-old Ben loves to play Sleepy Hollow Boys, reenacting the events Brom once lived through. But when Ben and a friend stumble across the headless body of a child in the woods near the village, and the discovery makes Ben question everything the adults in Sleepy Hollow have ever said, could the Horseman be real after all, or does something even more sinister stalk the woods? Yes, I can't wait to get this. Next up, Once Upon a Wardrobe by Patty Callahan. And if you can't tell, it kind of has something to do with Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, the lamppost. Okay, this book. I can't quite remember what it's about, but I remember it has something to do with Narnia. Okay, let's see. Meg's Devonshire is brilliant with numbers and equations, on a scholarship at Oxford, and dreams of solving the greatest mysteries of physics. She prefers the dependability of facts, except for one. The younger brother she loves with all her heart doesn't have long to live. When George becomes captivated by a brand new book called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and begs her to find out where Narnia came from, there's no way she can refuse. This already sounds terribly sad, you guys. Oh my god. Despite her timidity about approaching the famous author, Meg soon finds herself taking tea with the Oxford Don and his own brother, imploring them for answers. What she receives instead are more stories of Jack Lewis's life, which she takes home to George. Why won't Mr. Lewis just tell her plainly what George wants to know? The answer will reveal to Meg's many truths that science and math cannot, and the gift she thought she was giving to her brother, the story behind Narnia, turns out to be his gift to her instead. Hope. Oh my goodness, this sounds like this is going to be a terribly sad book. You know her brother has died. You know he has died. Next up, Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. And this is book 1 in this duology. And once again, the same thing with that Brides of Americorps book. The second book in this series, my birthday book haul that I did back in March, book 2 is part of that book haul. So yeah, I'm just now getting to this book haul for this first book. And I love the cover. design. This one, the dress kind of spans out into a heart, and then on the second book, the cover, her dress looks like it's a brain, and it's really cool. Okay, when the two of them have a chance encounter outside the Royal Edinburgh Anatomist Society, Hazel thinks nothing of it at first. But after she gets kicked out of renowned surgeon Dr. Beecham's lectures for being the wrong gender, she realizes that her new acquaintance might be more helpful than she thought. Because Hazel has made a deal with Dr. Beecham. If she can pass the medical examination on her own, he will allow her to continue her medical career. Without official lessons, though, Hazel will need more than just her books. She'll need corpses to study. Luckily, she's made the acquaintance of someone who digs them up for a living. But Jack has his own problems. Strange men have been seen skulking around cemeteries. His friends are disappearing off the streets, and the dreaded Roman fever, which wiped out thousands a few years ago, is back with a vengeance. Nobody important cares until Hazel. Now, Hazel and Jack must work together to uncover the secrets buried not just in unmarked graves, but in the very heart of Edinburgh society. Ooh, sounds good. Next up, Matrix by Lauren Groff. And yeah, not that Matrix. Completely different Matrix, I guess. But still, I think some people might have seen the title and been like the movie? Okay, so what is this book about? I honestly can't remember entirely what this book is about. The cover definitely gives you nothing. I like the cover design, though. Okay. Equally alive to the sacred and the profane, Lauren Groff's Matrix is a defiant and timely exploration of the raw power of female creativity in a corrupted world. Well, what is it about, though? Hold on. What is it about? It's not telling me what this book is about. My God. What kind of book is this that it doesn't have any sort of synopsis on it, people? Okay, just looking here at the very first page of chapter 1, it does say that it takes place in France in 1158. And I did see, like, the name of Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine, I believe, popping up in here. So it has something to do with France in the 1100s with Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine, it sounds like. Seriously, this is terrible. Seriously, this is the plot right here. But it's not even a plot. It's just talking about Lauren Groff, really, more than anything. And there's absolutely no plot on here. And I can't even pull up my phone. I'm not sure how to sit and pull up like Goodreads while I'm sitting here trying to film at the same time. I don't want to mess up my filming to try to look at a synopsis on Goodreads. So yeah, that's frustrating. You guys, seriously, definitely pull up Goodreads to get the plot synopsis of this, because I have absolutely no idea entirely what it's about, unfortunately. Okay, there's another book in this haul that I have read, at least, and this is What Once Was Mine by Liz Braswell, and this is part of the Twisted Tales series that has been put out by Disney. And all of these Twisted Tales ask a what-if sort of question, something that's going to change the narrative of your favorite Disney movies. And this one is saying, what if Rapunzel's mother drank a potion from the wrong flower? I read and reviewed this book over on Goodreads, and I made a video for it as well. This book, I've enjoyed all of the Twisted Tales book, and this is kind of one of the few books in the series that I was a little disappointed with. I kind of didn't like where certain things were going and how, like, the relationship between Rapunzel and Flynn Rider was handled and whatnot. But still, if you've been reading these Twisted Tale books, I recommend you still pick this one up, because I think they're all still very, very good. Next up, The Map Makers by Tamsin Merchant. Yes, the actress Tamsin Merchant, who you've probably seen in maybe something like The Tudors, where she played Catherine Howard, who was the fifth wife of King Henry VIII. Yes, she was in The Tudors. She was in Carnival Row as a main character. She was in the TV show Salem. Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff, mostly a lot of period drama things. So yeah, I primarily picked this book up because of Tamsin Merchant. I love her as an actress. And yeah, she's been writing this, I think it's a trilogy at this point. It's like middle grade fantasy and whatnot. So yeah, this book. Ever since Cordelia Hatmaker discovered a hidden map in her missing father's precious telescope, she has searched London for him by starlight. She is sure that Prospero is out there somewhere. She never expects to stumble upon a secret society of map makers, or to learn that magic is all around if you just know where to look. But danger is lurking around every corner, and Cordelia must convince the rival maker families to work together to bring her father home and to save her magic itself. Oh, okay, and yeah, it does say this is the enchanting sequel to the Hat Makers. Okay, that's right. I keep thinking for some reason this is the first book in the series. That's right. The very first book in the series was called The Hat Makers. This one is called The Map Makers. And you know what? Maybe a third book has not been released. I think I've been waiting for her to publish a third book because I have a feeling it's going to be a trilogy. And yeah, this looks really cute and charming. I'm definitely curious to see what Tamsin Merchant's writing style is like. Hopefully, she's a good writer. Next up, Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, and this is part of like another duology that was released in the Grisha verse by Leigh Bardugo, like the Shadow and Bone books that the TV show is based off of and whatnot. Yeah, this says this is the epic conclusion to the King of Scars duology. Yeah, I believe yeah, I hauled the very first book in this duology in another book haul probably months ago. I have no idea where, but yeah, I'm not going to sit and read the plot synopsis on this because I don't really want to get spoiled about anything since I've not read any of these books in this series. But yeah, just let it be known, I am excited to get to the Grishaverse by Leigh Bardugo. Right now, I own every book in the series, and I plan on like binging through all of them at some point. I love the TV show. Next up, I have another Disney book here, and this is Feather and Flame by Olivia Blackburn, and this is book 2 in the Queen's Council series. The very first book in this series focused on Belle and the Beast, from Beauty and the Beast, obviously, and this one is about Mulan, which I cannot wait to get to. So yeah, the war is over. Now a renowned hero, Mulan spends her days in her home village, training a militia of female warriors. The peace is a welcome one, and she knows it must be protected. When Shang arrives with an invitation to the imperial city, Mulan's relatively peaceful life is upended once more. The aging emperor decrees that Mulan will be his heir to the throne. Such unimaginable power and responsibility terrify her, but who can say no to the emperor? As Mulan ascends into the halls of power, she soon realizes that not everyone is on her side. Her ministers undermine her, and the Huns sense a weakness in the throne. When hints of treachery appear even amongst those she considers friends, Mulan has no idea whom she can trust. But the discovery of mysterious ancient magic helps Mulan uncover her true destiny. With renewed strength and the wisdom of those who came before her, Mulan will own her power, save her country, and prove once again that crown or helmet she was always meant to lead. Yeah, what these Queen's Council books have been doing, they're basically like what is after the happily ever after that you see in the cartoons and whatnot. Because yeah, the Beauty and the Beast one, because that was about like Belle and the Beast's life after that first, after that movie and whatnot. And so yeah, this is like what happens after the events of Mulan. And I like the premise of this. I know there's a book with Jasmine and Aladdin coming out here sometime soon. I can't wait to get to that one as well. So yeah, this sounds pretty good. So you guys, thank you for making it through this long video. I don't know why these videos are so long. I'm just reading a synopsis, for heaven's sake. Anyway, you guys, the books that I shared in this video, are there any that you have read and enjoyed in the past that you maybe loved or hated? Any of these books that sound interesting to you that you would like to get in the future? Which one of these books would you like me to get to sooner rather than later? So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.